Okay. Oh, I see. I think we're doing it now. Getting ready to go for another bike ride on, what was it, 8th of August, I think. I forgot to turn on my microphone, or I just forgot to even bring it and plug it into the camera. So, anyway, we're going south on our gravel road from our house. There's my mailbox. Headed south out to the 4 Mile road, and we're going to go turn west on the 4 Mile road. It's the main road that goes from Highway 75 over to Gooding County and runs into Highway 46. So anyway, we are going to, well, look how wet the road is here. That's because the four brothers didn't turn their pivot off, so they like to water the gravel road, which is okay with me because when the pivot gets up close to my property, it actually gets on, waters my two pine trees that are right next to the road. Okay, so anyway, we'll just let this run and I'll continue talking. And sometimes I won't have anything wise to say. I might say dumb things. And let's see. Um, oh, I gotta take this off for a second. Okay. Okay. I had to find the button that muted my microphone. So here we just got on the 4 Mile road, the asphalt road, which Lincoln County so carefully keeps in really, really good shape. I wish. We're heading west, speeding up the bike. I think I don't know if I'm pedaling here or not, maybe. But anyway, I wanted to get up to a good speed, 25 mile an hour or more. They're watering the asphalt road too, see? They own property on both sides of the highway right here. Oh, my, that felt so good. And I had a chance to buy that property that's on the right-hand side, but the guy wanted at the time $55,000 for, or no, it's 55 acres, and I forget how much money he wanted for it. But what am I going to do with all that extra land? So I didn't buy it. Probably should have. And could have leased it out to somebody to put the cows on it or whatever. But coming up on Dave Hill's property, the house on the right hand side, he's got a bunch of dogs kept in cages over here, hunting dogs. And he's got his hay and whatever right along the highway here. I'm not sure how much property he runs there, but more than me. And I'm going to go on the road all the way down to the, what is that, the West 650 road, and then I'm going to turn north and go up to the 620 North Road where the old Bronze Store uh, was. They used to have a real store there years ago. Uh, and then turn west and go from there. But anyway, now this is where Aunt Alice lived, that road to the left that we just passed. She and Uncle Dale used to live down there back in the 50s and 60s and maybe into the 70s. And I'm not sure who lives down there now, but there's more than one house. They put up a cinder block house. They had a cinder block house built with a basement when Darlene and Sharon and Donna were uh, youngsters, and I was just well, when was it? They must have moved in there about 1954, 53, 54, 55, somewhere in through there. I'm not quite sure, but they lived there for a good number of years, and he raised Hereford cows, beef cattle, Hereford beef cattle, and uh, quite successful at it, I do believe. Let's see, I'm not sure. Um, Larry Sturgeon, his parents lived along this road too. Actually, I think the house that's before you get to Dave Hills on the north, or I mean on the south side of the road, kind of in the dip before you go up the hill to where Dave Hill is. Dave Hill, by the way, comes from New Jersey. He's a New Jersey boy. And his attitude is kind of the East Coast, New Jersey, New England attitude. Is basically say, I'm going to screw you over before you screw me over. And he's done that a fair amount. But otherwise, he's just a super nice guy. Let's see, I think this is the place here that Elma um, lived. She worked at the vet office for a while, but she took care of stray dogs and stuff out here at her property several years ago when we first moved here. She had lots of dogs, and I'm not sure whether she went broke out there or just what, but she doesn't live there anymore. In fact, I haven't seen her in a long time. She may not be around or around the area either. I don't know. And I'm talking with my teeth out. I got new upper teeth, false teeth, that use implant pins to hold the teeth in place. But there's still a lot of food that gets underneath the things, and I'm getting more used to them. Next year in 2024, I think we're going to do my bottoms and put those in. So let's see. Is this return? Yeah, this is 650 west. And just turn north The hills in the background are the Bennett Hills. I think that's what they're called. Uh, Foothills. I'm not sure how high they go elevation wise, but elevation right is 3,900 feet, maybe 4,000 feet, something like that. At my house is almost 4,000. It's 3,950 or something like that. Anyway, it's high desert, high desert farming. That's what I named my YouTube channel. 1,200-meter high desert farming. Anyway, I think I sound a little funny with trying to talk with my teeth out. Maybe I sound funny with my teeth in too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a funny guy. Ha ha ha. Just took a swig of Diet Mountain Dew. Ugh, bottle skin is starting to get a little warm. Well, I hope this works out, and we'll combine the. Well, I think I got 5 different clips uh, of this right here, and combine them and ship it up to YouTube, my YouTube channel. After a while, or whenever it gets whatever it needs to do to get processed for people to view it. And I just changed. Oh, by the way, the guy on the. I don't think you can see it too good, but I just passed his house. His last name is Lowry. In 2009, when I was working for the census, going around verifying addresses and places where people can live, the guy was very hostile toward me. And down at the corner, he owns that place too, and he told me to leave, get off his property, and then I came down here to the corner at 620 North and 650 West, and went to that house that's on the southeast corner. Uh, I forget exactly what I had to do. Anyway, he comes screaming down the road with his four-wheeler. Get off my property, he says. I told you to leave. And so we had a little confrontation. I told him if he didn't like me being there, he better call the sheriff if he doesn't think I should be there. Anyway, it turned out to be a real butthead. Adams lives right here to the right. Not Randy Adams, it's his cousin, I think, that lives here. And I can't remember his first name, but he has a son that lives over on 720 North that's Rowdy, or some name like that. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, when I worked for Randy Adams Custom Farming, we came down on his cousin's place here and did some green chop. But what year was that? 2007, I think. I just worked for Randy Adams part of the season, running an 18-wheeler behind a green chop. That was interesting. Good learning process. Except you don't want to cross Randy Adams. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. And at first he liked me, but then I did something wrong, and I had to quit, or he fired me, or both. I was just, I think I started in July and then quit in November. I think the year is 2007, I believe. The house coming up on the left, that whitish building, I think the guy who lives there is Bill Braun. The Braun family has several properties around this area, around Shoshone Gooding area. And up at the corner of the old Braun store, old lady Braun, who was my father's age, when I was doing the census in 2009, I talked to her a little bit, and she asked me who my parents were, and I told her. Ooh, belch. Um, and I said told her my father's name is Lloyd Nelson. We used to live in Wendell. And she says, I think I dated your father once. Oh, that's interesting. And uh, I have no idea if that's true or not, but I just found it interesting. She's passed away now. Of course, my father was born in 1919, and he would be over 100 years old now if he would have lived. And where she lived, I'm not sure who lives there now, but one of maybe a grandchild or something like that. Anyway, small world sometimes, huh? When I worked for Randy Adams Custom Farming, we did some stuff for Bill Braun um, here on his property. So I don't remember whether we did some green chop on the hay or with the corn or green. I don't remember. This is 2023, and that was back in 2007. Yeah, it's been a few years ago. Getting old. Time just marches on. Now, this house on the right is built by the Lowry guy owns that still, I think. And the Braun store is right there on the right. Oh, I thought it was going to go straight. I guess not. Anyway, now we're going back west on the 620 North Road. Anyway, I remember going in there when I was a wee kid, when Dell and Alice used to live in Shoshone area, where that long driveway that we passed earlier. And I kind of remember going into that store, I think once with Uncle Dell. This place on the right is owned, some Hispanic people lived there, and they had sheep and goats in this pen that you see here to the right. Uh, it was interesting to see all those goats, and sometimes they had goats and sometimes they had sheep. But nah. uh, and they go, Daddy. That's supposed to be a joke. And coming up on the fire station, this is also where we go vote, our voting place. The fire station is. Sue Etheridge is one of the volunteers that works here during voting day, or voting days is more than one that goes on, different times of the year, special elections, that sort of thing. But this is fire station number 2. Fire station number 1 is in the town of Shoshone. And what is this? Looks like hay being cut on the field on the right, and on the left-hand field is corn. The person that donated the land for the fire station lives here on the right. Gooch is the last name. I guess that's how it's pronounced, Gooch. And coming up on this next intersection off to the right, you really can't see it in the picture, but that's one of the Braun farms. That's where Chewy the dog used to live. We got introduced to Chewy by Mr. Braun. Not sure of his first name, that lives in that house. To the left at the intersection, down a little ways, you can kind of see the tree sticking out the left side of the picture, is the property of Dean Shannon. He owns 2 pieces of property. He doesn't live there, but he owns that. I'm not sure how many acres he's got there, but he owns that. I pulled into his driveway a couple of times to get into some shade to adjust the seat, and my bicycle seat, adjust that. Did that once. And I had to change my bike battery when I was testing to see how far it would go on one charge on the battery. So I took my second battery along, and I didn't run it to where it actually turned the battery off, but close, I believe. It's a 52 volt nominal battery, which at fully charged is 58 but 0.6 or something like that volts, and it dropped down to 43 point something, the 43, almost 44 volts, and I figured, well, I've seen the charts and I think it's going to be turning itself off pretty soon. So anyway, I was close to Dean's place there and pulled in to do it in the shade and went ahead and changed it. So I know when it gets that low into like 44 volts, and especially if it drops down into 43 volts, I better either figure I got to push the bike because the battery's going to turn off because of the BMS stuff that will turn it off to protect it. So anyway, on the bicycle deal, I have to watch the voltage rather than the percentage. I don't trust. I think mine set up fairly close, but I don't trust the percentage readings. Now this place to the right, you see three outhouses right there, blue Santa cans or whatever they're called. And he has something to do because he has tents and stuff set in there. And up here on the left, he has some horses. And I don't know what he does, but I think he has people come in from wherever and get it. They take the horses up in the mountains or um, on guided tours, or I don't know what they do. Anyway, I've seen a bunch of people down here where these horses are on the left, like they're being trained how to what they're going to do or whatever do. Anyway, some kind of enterprise to do with horses, and people coming in from who knows where to go riding up in the mountains or up in these Bennett foothills or whatever. In fact, you know, there's a couple horses. Oh, there's some people there now being trained on how to use their horse or whatever they do. But that's interesting. I'm going to have to try to remember to ask Dean Shannon if he knows anything about what they do. It's kind of interesting. The house on the left up here is relatively new. I'm not sure when it was built, but it's relatively new. It's I think, one of the Braun family farms. And when we delivered papers for the Times News that was 2004, the year, well, when we started doing like December of 2003 or something like that. We delivered out all over in this area and into Gooding County and whatnot. Now here's one of the canals. This is a fairly wide canal, but it's not all that deep. And I think this is the main canal, the that runs into Gooding County from the um, Snake River water. I think the Littlewood River also runs into Gooding, and some of the farms over there and get their water out of it. I believe it's all controlled by the same canal company. Dean Shannon used to be my ditch rider. The different people called him to turn the water on or off at different locations and that sort of thing. And this road here I'm turning north on is the county road. On the left side of the road is Gooding County, and the right side of the road is Lincoln County. And we're going north. Um, Probably going to stop up here I usually stop here by this little red building. I stop, rest my butt, get a drink of water. And it looks like I'm doing it again, stopping. I don't know what I'm checking to see, checking the camera is what I'm doing. That thing on my bike, that the rubber band around it, is a battery that I use to keep the Garmin and that other GPS thing, XOSS, however you pronounce that, ZOS, or anyway, they're both GPSs, and they both record your ride. And I have the software for the XOSS piece of thing. Last year and the year before, when I started using it, I made I can transfer it, Bluetooth to my phone, and it shows my route and that sort of thing. But I don't do it anymore. I really don't care. The Garmin, I could get software to do. Oh dear, to do that with that one too, but I really don't care about that kind of thing anymore. But the Garmin, I made several routes. You can go through and make a route that you want to go, and if you watch the Garmin, it'll tell you to turn left, turn right, just like a Garmin car computer will do too. And I really don't need it out in this area because I know all the roads, but it's kind of handy, if I want to go right into Gooding, where I know where I'm at kind of, but I don't know all the roads and stuff in Gooding. And like any GPS, if you want to take a car with a bike rack on it, could drive it to Twin Falls or some other town and park your car and leave and mark that as a waypoint to be able to say, I want to go to, tell your computer Garmin to say go this to this waypoint, and it'll tell you how to get back to where you parked your car. It's cool. But I don't have a bicycle rack, and this bicycle is big enough, even though it's only got 20-inch wheels. It's still heavy, and if I had a bike rack and everything, I could take it, go to Twin Falls and ride around there, or take it over to who knows wherever, Boise or Idaho Falls or City of Rocks, and use it to find my way around there as well. Now we just turned on the 720 North Road where I'm riding east, and speed limit 50. So that's 50 light years a second, or 50 millimeters per hour. they, they don't tell you what 50 means. 50 what? I guess it just understood that it's miles, because we inherited the old English foot, mile, pound system, and we still use it, even though the rest of the world, or most of the rest of the world, use the metric stuff, kilogram, kilometer, millimeter, Newton meters, all those kind of measurements. I wish we would. I don't know why we don't. Well, we don't, because too many people get upset. But it's been proven when Australia and England and Canada changed after a generation of people, after 50 years of using it now, the people who are using it now don't try to convert back and forth between the old and new systems. It's second nature to them, and it could be that way for Americans too. But too many politicians are afraid to do it. Too many people are, uh, they think they don't want to learn it. Why should we learn it? Let the rest of the world use our inches and stuff, and yet most people don't even know what they're using. Like, how many pints are in a gallon? How many feet are in a mile? What the hell does an acre mean? What, how much is an acre? What is an acre? It is all they know. It's a piece of land. They have no idea how big it is. Most people don't. I mean, there's some who could tell you it's so many square feet or whatever it is. Amount of land a mule could plow in a day, or however they originally started making it. Well, this video is going to go for an hour and 10, 12 minutes, whatever it is. Something like that. And we're at the 40-minute mark right now. Or 38 minutes, something like that. This place coming up on the left is one of the Adams' son, Randy Adams' nephew. We were up here filling in a silage pit when I worked for him. Rowdy, is that his name, or is that his cousin's name? Anyway, see that dog? That's a hunting dog, a pointer. And there's another dog there, a big white dog. And I stopped and talked to both of them. This guy is kind of friendly. He'll let you pet him and everything. The big white dog is a little more timid. He kind of bark at you, kind of, but both of them are not going to really try to bite you or bother you. Unlike some on the east side of Highway 75, little Chihuahua type of dogs, ankle biters, and I don't like those kind of dogs, especially when they try to run alongside of you and get in front of you. If I hit one of those dogs with my bike, it might knock me over. And I wouldn't like that at all. That would hurt. It could even kill you if you land wrong or scrape you up pretty good if you hit one of those dogs and knocks you over on concrete. Not concrete, but asphalt. This is a brand new bridge they just built. I think they started in 2021. Anyway, it's a brand new bridge. Interesting that there's, you said I forgot to plug in or even bring my external microphone that I use. That microphone works pretty good. Surprising how well it works. It doesn't pick up the breeze from riding, or when it's actually blowing, it doesn't pick up too much wind noise. So I was quite pleased with it. And my camera is what kind is it called? It's called a Kaso, A-K-A-S-O, a Kaso. It's the V50X model. And for a relatively inexpensive action camera, including the extra stuff like the chest belt thing and different attachments that you can use, it's still relatively inexpensive compared to the GoPros and some of the other brands of more, they those kind of cameras can probably do a lot more. But for what I do, this a Kaso camera works out just fine so far. Now, who knows what the future may hold. If I decide to try to make a lot of videos, maybe I'll have to think about getting another camera or whatever. But right now, it's working out fine. The colors are pretty close. It might enhance the green color a little more than it looks naturally, but yeah, who cares? I was stopped along this road one day getting a drink or anyway, stopped straddling the bike. And the people that live up here to the left where these trees are, he drove by in his pickup truck and saw that I was stopped there, not too far from his house, and he stopped and asked if I was okay, just being friendly. I had a problem with the bike or something like that. And I told him, no, just whatever I was doing, maybe change the seat height or I don't remember. But anyway, it's nice that he stopped. One of the persons stopped over east of the highway too, down almost to where the 620 North Road tees at the 250 West, or not West, but 250 East Road. He stopped one day and asked me the same thing because I was getting a drink or whatever I was doing. But it's nice that the people are nice that way, friendly sometimes, just finding out if you're okay. So that's good. If I had a real problem and somebody were to stop, that would be nice if get a ride or load me up in their vehicle and take me home or whatever they'd be willing to do. Now this place on the right coming up, they have I think they have cattle and then they also have some sheep, little sheepies. I remember coming to the house that's on this property on the right in 2009 or 10, one of the other, when I was working for the census and talking to the woman who lived there. She's an elderly woman and talked to her for probably, if I remember right, about 5 minutes or so. Don't remember what we talked about, but it was a nice little short conversation. And another dairy to the left. I don't know if this is part of the J and B dairy or not, but look at all the cows sitting up there on top of the up on top of the cow manure hill. It's kind of funny. They they like to. Oh, look at them! They're all coming to see what I'm doing. That's kind of funny. The curious little critters. But human consumption, we drink their milk and make cheese and butter and hamburger out of cattle like this. And of course, those hills of the manure are piled up over time from straw or whatever bedding material they use, plus the cow manure as they shit and they pile it up and eventually they'll load it into a manure spreader and take it out into the fields and spread the cow poop around in the field for fertilizer. And like I said on one of my other videos, they put that on the fields, it turns into fertilizer to make the corn and hay and whatever else kind of stuff grow that they feed the cows and make the milk and you drink the milk and anyway it's a one circle. Just kind of funny. Most people don't think about it that way, but interesting. Of course they have to add other things, nitrogen and different things to the soil for fertilizer, and of course there's water and some other kinds of things they put on the fields to help them grow. All that stuff turns into stuff you eat. Well, they're finally taking off again. And we're at 50 minutes into the video, it looks like. And And so it looks like another 10, another 20 minutes to go before the video is done. These kind of rides are actually should break it up into two different videos, so maybe 35 or 40 minutes per video rather than one big long one. But oh well, I didn't. I want to make a video going from home, riding the bike over to Gooding to get another haircut, which I'm going to have to do pretty soon. But it's been awfully hot lately. And so by 10 o'clock, it's been approaching 80 degrees. So I may not do that till after it starts to cool down again, maybe in September. And then before you know it, it's November and it's getting too cold and maybe even snow on the ground. And I don't want to go riding in the snow. I tried riding my bike at nighttime. When? Not too long ago. A few days ago, week or two ago, whatever. And did not like it at all. So I have to see where my feet are on the pedals. And if they slip off, it's hard to get them back on without actually being able to see them. And it's so dark out here, even the bicycle headlights don't illuminate the pedals and where you got to put your feet too well, hardly at all. Almost need some kind of headlight that's hooked to the handlebars or something to point down toward my feet if I were to ride at night. I guess I could do it if I had to, but I really don't want to try doing it at night anymore without. If you lived in town where they have street lights and stuff, where you could see your pedals, would be. Oh, I was going to mention the Bronze Store as I just went by it and turned on this road. This is the 620 North Road again. Oh well. Anyway, that's, if you noticed it, that's where the old Bronze Store used to be. And I don't know, it hasn't been a store there for many years. I'm not sure when they stopped using it as a store. I know we've lived here at our house here for 20 years now. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has been. And that store's been closed since before we moved here. And this is the J&V Dairy here on the left. You got a pretty big operation. Another thing I want to do is ride my bike along the 4 Mile Road to where the Four Brothers Dairy is and take pictures with my action camera of all the calves and stuff they have over there that you can see from the highway. And if I had a bicycle carrier for one of my pickups, I would like to go up to the City of Rocks north of Gooding and do some bicycle riding up that way. maybe even ride down that windy hill into Fairfield. Take a video doing that. That would be interesting, but I don't know if I'd do it this year or not. If I'm still alive and able, maybe next year I think I might try that. But I'd have to have Crystal drive the pickup or whatever to be able to pick me up, because I don't think, even with 2 batteries, that I would have enough battery to get over to, what is that, Johnson's Hill on Highway 46 and ride down that. You get going pretty fast because that's kind of a steep grade. And over to Fairfield, get a hamburger over there at the, I forget the name of the place, but that hamburger place. And then either ride back up the hill or maybe go east on that highway, what is that, Highway 26 or whatever it is, over to Highway 75, and then come back up south on Highway 75 back to the 620 North Road again. But that'd be a long way, and I don't know that 2 batteries would do that, especially if I do a lot of just throttle. If I were in better shape, maybe using a lot of my own human power, maybe be able to do it. But at my age at 75, and with all the troubles I've had with my foot being infected, and last year, 2022, there goes the FedEx truck. They're the ones that delivered my bikes, both of them. Anyway, last year in 2022, my right foot got reinfected a couple of times, and so last year I didn't ride hardly at all. I had to stay off my feet, and I've lost a lot of muscle tone. Oh. And then I don't know, just one thing after another. You don't get out as often as it should. Oh, anyway, we're on our last stretch here, where that big tree that kind of looks like it's in the middle of the road is at, is the 450 East Road, and here comes another truck. Oh, it's a milk truck. Looks like a Glanbia milk truck. Or maybe it's Jerome Cheese milk truck. Well, it's not Jerome Cheese anymore. They got bought out and it's something else. I forget what it is. But I drove for that company for just a few days back in I guess the second year we moved here in 2004, but I only did it for about a week. And they had a Jewish rabbi come and bless the milk to make well, okay, I thought I was going to turn down that 450 road. I guess not. Going to come back home on the gravel road again. Yay! Anyway, they have to do that to make their kosher cheese. And it made it very awkward. They had trucks backed up there trying to get emptied. And it was screw this. I got a job offer from Idaho Concrete, and I did that instead. So I only did the Giltner truck driving job for the Jerome Cheese. I think only about 8 days, something like that. Drivers at the time were supposed to only go 11 hours. Oh, I wasn't where I thought it was. Ah, here's my. Oh, yeah, I damn too. Here it is. My gravel road, 375 west. Going to turn down the bumpy gravel road. I wish this road were paved. So ruddy. All the farm equipment stuff and everybody makes ruts in the road. Bounces everything, including me, all over the place, even though I got a suspension seat post. And of course, it's got shocks in the front for the front wheel. It's still awkward trying to bump down the road and hit those ruts. They're usually caused by big rigs pulling horse trailers or whatever. If a person puts their vehicle into four-wheel drive, it makes it, they don't make as big of a problem with the ruts like people driving in two-wheel drive. Well, looks like we've gone an hour and 3 minutes and some seconds. And it looks like we're going to go to about 1 hour and 13 minutes or so. So it's getting close to the end. Look at all those white puffy clouds up there. And I think the temperature by the time I got home was starting to get a little on the uncomfortable warm hotness, but not is all less than 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So probably maybe around 80-ish, or maybe a little above, but I don't think too much above 80, if at all. Maybe just high 70s. But that's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to buy a bike thermometer. I think my Garmin, or one of my instruments, has a thermometer built in, but it doesn't yet. It doesn't show it all the time. You have to push the buttons to get it to the right spot. And I was thinking maybe try ordering an external thermometer that I could mount on handlebars somewhere and look if I was curious enough to see if I'm going to die from heat exhaustion or not. Hmm. Yeah, right in here, I've got the camera actually a little higher than I ideally would want it down, pointed down a little bit where I could see the handlebars on the bike and yet be able to see out farther. But now I'm seeing just a lot of sky. It's actually pointed up too high. I got to remember to kind of keep tabs on that and not let it get pointed up too high. Basically all we're seeing right now is the sky with those puffy clouds. Oh well, it's getting toward the end of the video, so maybe it doesn't matter. Hmm. And we're coming up. That's a little better here. I don't know whether I pushed the camera down or if it just kind of moved itself down. But, well, I must have not have moved it because back up, but we're coming up on Derek's Peaks place over to the right. That power pole that's straight ahead of us is at the corner of my property and Derek's property. I'm on the southeast corner of this intersection. Derek's is on the northwest corner. On the southwest corner is Dave Hill. On the northeast corner is Four Brothers owns that. And you can see my trees down in front of me here, in front of the camera. We're turning west again on this is part of the 520 North Road. And it goes past Derek's house and bounces around down to the 450 West. No, this is the 520. What did I say? This is part of the 520 North Road, and it keeps going past Derek Peaks' place and ends up come to a T at the 450 West Road. Right ahead of us, the beige house on the hill. The gardeners lived up there. They both passed away. Why can't I think of their first names? Anyway, both nice people. She died before he did. And then it's kind of out of the picture now, but the house on the right, it's a greenhouse that was owned by another gardener. Anyway, my mind is, must be getting tired. My mind is getting blank. We bought our 40-acre place from. It's actually about 40, almost 43 acres altogether. Because when they did the survey on the south end of the property, they put a fence in and didn't get it correct. So he encroached on the land that was on the south by a number of feet. And they had to resurvey it. And now there's two parcels of property that we pay taxes on. And we pay 40 acres plus the other, what, 2.5 or so acres on the south, second, uh, because they screwed up when they put the fence in. They put it in too far south. Oh, I got a mosquito bite on my hand. It's just, Okay, turn into my driveway. There's my horse trailer. And I'm going to turn down by my Nissan pickup and go behind. Boy, that camera's just way too high. Jeez, I don't know what happened. Didn't put it back up properly. Anyway, so we is home. And it looks like we've gone how far? Can't see the display very well. Oh dear. Anyway, it was probably 20 some miles, 22 miles or whatever it was. And so I guess this is all. It's going to quit here in a moment. So bye for until later on.